Hi everybody, it's Margaret here with 60andMe. This is a video that I've been waiting to do for like 8 hours. I thought about it last night and then went to sleep, thought about it some more, and then I got up and thought, I've got to do this video now because it is so important and significant, in my opinion. Now, many of you heard that the company Facebook has renamed its parent company to Meta. And this is a big move for Facebook. I'm sure it's got all kinds of political and other business goals. But the main thing is it's building on a name that Mark Zuckerberg, the owner of Facebook, calls the Metaverse. So Meta is the name of the new Facebook parent company. And you remember, if you do, Google did this a few years ago when they formed the company called Alphabet. And then Alphabet now includes all the Google properties. So Mark Zuckerberg decided to create this company or change the name of the master company to Meta. And Meta is a word that, I mean, I was thinking about words that have meta in it, you know, metaphysical, metaphor, it's just such a powerful phrase. And I'm so glad that they chose that particular name. But anyway, what does it mean and why is it important? Now, if you go online right now and type in Metaverse, you will be inundated totally with articles about this shift in the name and also about the concept of Metaverse. And maybe you know what it is and you are very comfortable now having a conversation about it. But for me, even though I was in the technology business for a very long time, I worked at Microsoft for almost 20 years, this is not something that I've been that familiar with as a concept. The framework of what's included in it, I am familiar with, but it's exciting. I'm really excited about this. And I think some people are going to be overwhelmed. Some people will be whatever, and others are going to be opposed to it. And so I think it's a very controversial topic in some ways. And I just want to share it with you. And I wanted you to be the first. I'll probably do a video for 60andMe. I'll probably do a video that covers this in more depth as the thing unfolds, because literally it's just hours, days old. So what is the Metaverse? The Metaverse is a virtual reality or augmented reality experience that allows users to interact remotely with a mix of virtual and in-person elements. I'm reading this from my notes because I want to make sure I don't misrepresent. That's what it is, what Metaverse is. It's a world of connection, interconnectedness, and it's almost endless. Virtual communications where people can visit communities, they can travel around the world, and they can work and play and socialize with people in a virtual reality or augmented reality world. And this world is a new technology, and it's going to be involved using, of course, a headset. And this headset will be like probably in time as ubiquitous as our phones. Everybody will have a headset, and putting on this headset will enable you to enter these worlds, these interconnected worlds. Now, it may seem kind of abstract and weird and, not for you, maybe not even of interest to you. But I think if you think about your grandchildren, your children, the world at large, I think that this is the new version of the internet, and it's going to open a lot of opportunity. I think it's going to offer opportunity for jobs, for the economy, for socializing in a post-pandemic world. And I just think it's fascinating. So what is the Metaverse? It's not a reality yet. It doesn't exist. You can't switch it on today. It is the next, in my opinion, the next evolution of the internet. And Mark Zuckerberg said it's the next evolution for social networking. Now, up until now, social networking on Facebook has just been about posting comments and likes and emojis and, just like in an abstract world, talking to someone online, your friends, your colleagues, and groups that you're interested in. So in a way, this Metaverse is the next computing platform that people will be able to build applications and scenarios and stories to pull people in, to invite you to come into their world, into their community, into their virtual world. And the experience of being in a virtual world is going to be so much different than, well, first of all, just typing a comment, but also being able to experience, in what appears to be real connection with friends, people who are obviously in the same, playing the game. It's like a game. It's like an online game. And, so to reach it, people are going to have to wear these VR, virtual reality or augmented reality headsets. And the difference, by the way, as I understand it, between virtual reality and augmented reality is virtual is where you are really going into a gaming world or a play world, a communication world, a conversation world, where it's just completely different. It's just like a created world. And augmented reality is where it takes your current situation and just enhances it. So, you can be in your living room, but it can have enhancements. You can put backdrops and interesting, frame your world to look different, that you're in your own room or own place. So in a way, it's to like superimpose the digital realms onto the physical world. Now, you say, what on earth is she talking about? And why does it matter to me? Well, for me, it's exciting because I think, okay, here we are, 60andMe. We've got women all around the world. We've got women in 150 countries. Right now, we can talk to each other on Zoom. We can do Crowdcast. We can do our Patreon, live shows. We can do Facebook live shows, YouTube, and we've got lots of ways that we can talk to each other. But wouldn't it be cool if we could actually go and chat with each other in a room where we felt, for all intent and purposes, that they were there. We're there, we can dress up in different clothes, we can take on different personas, and we can just, pretend that we're having a party. We can have a dinner. We can do this endlessly. But I think it's an amazing way for communities like 60andMe, for example, to be able to connect. And I am all about connection. This is like my passion in my life is connections. And I'm so excited that this could be. I don't know whether I'll be around to actually, it may take years. It will probably take decades to get this perfected. But, Facebook has said I think they've hired 10,000 more people. They bought a company called Oculus, and they are the ones that make these headsets. So I think but I'm sure almost, well on the way to having a product. But of course, they're going to be very expensive, probably thousands of dollars to use to start. It's new. It's all new. Now, the reason that I'm doing this video, though, that's just the background to this, and I'm sorry it's taking so long. But what happened was I chatted with my son about this last night, and we were like, oh, after Mark Zuckerberg did his introductory video, and we both watched it, and we then talked to each other. I watched it, and I thought, gosh, that's a very strange way to be introducing a product to the masses. He introduces, you go into this room and people are dressed up in like different costumes. One's a robot, one's a monster, one's a, gremlin. They're like all sitting around the table playing cards. That's the whole idea. They're getting together to play cards, and they're all in like these little avatar costumes. And he walks in and says, oh, I was supposed to be the robot. And someone says, no, I'm the robot today. And they're just they're not themselves, they're avatars, and they're going to sit down and play cards, and they invite some people to come in from other parts of the world to sit around the table. And then all of a sudden this big fish goes flying across the screen, and someone says, oh, well, look at that big flying koi fish. And the whole thing then gets very, how would I say it, psychedelic. It gets very LSD inspired. It does feel like, like there's like a drug-induced haze around this experience, which is supposed to be a social gathering of people. And so and then it went on, and it was actually very good. It was actually but as a communications person, as a messaging person, I thought, well, that's really weird. Why wouldn't he not do something a little more normal? This is Margaret saying, why a little normal rather than have, flying fish? And when I spoke to my son, it's like, he was like, oh, this is so exciting. Think about all the great things you can do with this. With like the art and digital art, you can bring it, into meetings and movements and clothes, and people can try on different clothing, and it's just amazing, the opportunities. And I was like, very interesting that we both saw it in a positive way, but we saw it from a completely different lens. And then it occurred to me, what was the point of this extreme view? What was the point of him doing that instead of doing something that was, sitting around the coffee table, just bringing in your friends from, Germany to France to Bora Bora to India? What was that? Why didn't they just do that? Well, of course, it's because they want the younger generation back on Facebook. For years, the fastest growing demographic on Facebook has been 50 plus. And, you know, so that, and we are taking, well, we have many, if you don't like Facebook, of course, I know this, but a lot of older people have taken over the Facebook platforms, and that includes Instagram, WhatsApp. I never used to use WhatsApp, but I use it all the time now. I'm 73 soon, 72 now. But anyway, point is, doesn't matter. Point is that, you know, he chose to do it, to introduce the metaverse in a way that was going to be attractive and compelling and exciting to younger people. And I think he needed that shock to actually get people going, to actually, you know, introduce to them that it's, you know, a new world for them, and to come back to the meta world, not Facebook world, but meta world, even though Facebook is part still of the Meta family. And I mean, they own Oculus. There's lots, I mean, Facebook owns a lot of companies like Google does. And Meta and Microsoft, they all own specialist companies that can do things to enhance their overall platform. Anyway, so that's my theory. And I don't know if that's a bad theory. I think it's probably a good, or a strategy. I think it's a good one for Facebook to think about boomers as, you know, we are probably going to enjoy this. Some of us are going to find it creative and interesting, but for the most part, I don't know. I don't think that it's going to be that interesting. And I would love your feedback on this. This is one of the reasons that I recorded this video, is that I really want to know, you know, what you think. Do you think that the metaverse is something for you? Do you think that you will participate? Will you get involved in this? Are you interested in this world of virtual augmented reality, the metaverse? I think it's fascinating. But, you know, I think there's a couple of things just to close on here, and that is that, you know, and why I think it's going to be, I don't know if it'll be successful, but it's going to happen in some way or another. And I think that one is we're in a pandemic world still. And people cannot get out. And despite the fact that older people, I mean, I think have been very well protected. We've been first to get the vaccines, and we've been, you know, I think a lot of attention has been paid to the older generation. I think that the people in their 20s, 30s, and 40s have really struggled during this time, because they cannot get out and do the thing that they do best, and that is connect. That's what that time of their life is for. It's for finding a partner, finding friends, connecting with like-minded individuals. So I think that for them, it's been really, really difficult. And so this world is like a breath of fresh air. I mean, assuming that they can afford the headsets and you know, it all works out the way that it's been described. The future of work is also a very important part here, that people in that same age category where you're meant to be building your careers and, you know, and educating and skilling yourself up has not happened. And people are taking online courses, but I think people now are even having difficulty going back to work because they just liked it at home better. They like working from home. And that's that working from home, living from home, you know, entertaining yourself at home has just become a way of life. And so I think the world of work is changing. I don't think that jobs are going to exist in the world, you know, like they do today. In the physical shops, I think, are going to be replaced. So I think in that perspective, and I think that there's a cultural renaissance here possible with art and fashion and music and, you know, entertainment, visual filmmaking, information sharing, that the metaverse can really, really enhance. So what do you think? I mean, I honestly think it's going to enable the next generation for sure. The next generation is going to benefit from this new world. I'm trying not to go down the darker path of like, we're destroying the planet and, you know, that we're going to be at home a lot more. And this is going to be a world that's going to, you know, need to develop. I mean, I haven't gone there yet, but it's definitely a thought. But meeting like-minded people, getting together with friends in remote places, traveling. I mean, imagine if you could travel to the Taj Mahal and actually be there in your virtual world. So real that well, there's just no distinction. It's just real, and you're there, and you get to see it in your life, which is something you wanted to do, couldn't do. So I think virtual travel. And I think that, you know, despite the fact that Facebook is, you know, fighting for its reputation right now and fighting for a new way of being looked at as an innovative, sort of, elegant, innovative company I think it's an interesting and fascinating development. So what do you think? I know this has been a very long video, and I wanted to keep going because I was just excited about sharing the whole thing, because many of you probably don't even know about this development, and I'd love your feedback. Do you think the metaverse is for you? Do you think you would you buy a headset and dive into the world of the metaverse? I mean, if you had a reason, for example, if 60andMe was offering, coffee every morning and just chats for women around the world, if you had a reason to join, would you do that? Or do you think it's pretty much not something you're interested in, and even maybe some of you feel, not so good about it? You think it's something that's taking away from our basic humanity, from the way that we interact with each other? What do you think? I'm looking forward to your feedback on this one. I really, truly am. I'm going to post this right away or in the next couple of hours, because I want to get it out there right, before it gets too convoluted and complex, because I have a feeling over the next few days and weeks, this topic is going to just get overwritten and over communicated, and just wanted to get your opinions first before you've had too much time to be overwhelmed. Okay, everybody. Well, thank you so much for listening and for being here. Thank you for your support of 60andMe, and we will definitely talk again soon, maybe in the metaverse. You never know. Take good care. Bye-bye for now.